how am I doing? You guys see my face? Everything good? Okay, everything good. All right. So, we're gonna talk about everybody who emailed me address issue. We're gonna go in the order in which they were received. So, I'm gonna keep the names anonymous. And the first question is, do you have any suggestions on how to better understand the option trade, the one and done, and the high five? So, in a question like this, the video is the ultimate thing. I'm going to go ahead and reply to the user with video links. I'm going to go ahead and post them in chat as well. It's kind of honestly obvious, but I'm going to talk about more of the situation today with LSCC, the situation where I'm sure I would assume it's frustrating to hear people making money around you and you're struggling. So what I wanted to do on this one was show you what I did. So let's start from the very beginning. So why did I like LSCC the most? I mean, there has to be a reason why I like this one the most. Whether it worked or not is irrelevant. And I'm going to go ahead. There were two upgrades today, one from $11 target from 8 at Susquehanna and a 10.50 target from 8.50 at Jeffrey. So two analysts came out and upgraded it. I am going to that is the farthest thing from the truth if you think nobody made money today. That is it's a little disillusioned. But let me show you. Just focus. I'm going to help you. Okay. So this is how it started today. So if you look in chat, um, hundreds of people did. Just instead of saying whether you made or lost, just just watch. Just just watch. Just watch. Okay. So on LSCC, that was the news. That was the news on LSCC. There was another analyst upgrade. That was the one I was going on. It was a positive upgrade, 11 to 8. I went over it this morning. I talked about it this morning. I talked about that I liked it. And even what I said in the pre-market to you guys was I'm going to be looking on LSCC March $10 calls. That was my idea to watch the March $10 calls in LSCC. And as you can see right now, coincidentally, the volume in them is massive, 6,200 contracts traded. Guess who were the first people buying into those options? The Newsbeat Live community. So it doesn't matter. My tiers for 100 again. There are going to be people who have lower and higher tiers. Mostly lower, I get it, but there's a lot, over 100 people I would say at least have higher tier quantity sets than myself. Okay, so this is what I did here. The $10 stocks open this morning, and I can't show you through example right now, but just hear me. If you looked at it in the morning, you saw something weird. It was like 25 by 60 cents. So you had a 25-cent bid and a 60-cent offer. The first thing that should click in your mind when you see something like that is the spread is too large to throw in a market order. The spread is just simply too large at that moment. Now the spread is fine. It's a 5-cent spread. But in the morning, it wasn't. So what I did at that point was I said, you know what? Here was my thought process, and just now I have a chance to relax and explain it. Because I'm sure aren't a lot of you curious, like, Mark, why'd you put in a limit order at 30 before the one and done went through? You're probably curious of that. Let me explain it, how I adapted to this situation. And the people who bought stock obviously crushed it because it spiked up fine. So what I did there was, since I saw 25 by 30, what I did there is I simply put a bid above the best bid. It was 25 by 60. I put in a bid at 30, and it automatically filled immediately. Now, why do it there? And somebody's trying to buy 550 contracts now at 95 cents. Wow, that's so they're really pouring in volume into this option that on the $10 LSCC March call. With that being said, you have to stop and ask yourself, why buy at 30 cents why buy at 30 cents as opposed to potentially doing a one and done and marketing in and maybe getting filled at 40 cents or 45 cents even at that point. Why buy at 30? This is how I thought about it. Let's say you were trading, you know, I'm making it up. Let's say you wanted to trade $500 worth of options. Let's tone it down a little. $500, right? You wanted to risk $500 on LSCC through options no matter what happened. So if you were to buy when it was 25 by 60 cents, if you were to mark it in at 60, you would probably have to tier down to 10 contracts because maybe you get filled at 50, 60, maybe you spend 600 bucks, but that's the estimation you're using when you're marketing. Or you could buy instead of 10 contracts at 60, you could buy 20 contracts at 30, for example. So based on the large spread, I wasn't interested in marketing it. I think I don't recall. Maybe you'll remind me. Was I talking about the spread early on when it opened? I was like, oh guys, I got filled at 30. It's a large spread. I think I said don't market order this. You could still get filled at 30. And I'm giving you that information as quickly as I can on a real-time basis. So what happened is after I bought at 30 cents, I saw a flush ton of prints, 25 cents, 27, 30, 30, 30, 30, 30, 33, 34, 35, 30, 28, and all within that range. And any one of those fills to me were effective. Then what happened on LSCC afterwards is the one and done went through right over here and the stock went through 950. So what I'm saying is even if you put a market order on the second candle at 950. So let's say you wait for the first minute bar to close. Let's say you ignored the fact that I bought it. And then you put in a market order at 950. I saw people getting printed at 45 cents after the one and done went through and it spiked. I mean, the stock went from 950 to 996 and then 2 minutes later even higher to 1024. When we were buying in the morning, the stock was in the 930s, 940s range. And what I had to do is I had to make a decision where I'd rather go risk on the earlier calls and be wrong than try a one and done if it works and get some funky print. So that I didn't take this trade as a one and done. So now let's take it one step further and actually look what I did. So in the pre-market, I basically had this set up with a market order. March 15 calls, March 15 expiration, $10 calls, market order for 100 contracts, and my finger is on buy to open, right? My finger is right there on buy to open. I'm ready to buy the $10 calls at market. I'm watching LSCC. You guys have this information not only because you could see it in the announcement window, not only because you could see it on Twitter, not only because I posted it in a chat, but also via audio before the market open. I said I was watching LSCC. I mentioned that I might flip to something else quickly. There was a chance. Be prepared for me to switch names because I didn't know what was going to set up properly, but I was watching the LSCC March $10 calls. So before the market even opens, you could set up your software to be ready to potentially purchase this. Now, if your software was set to throw in a market order on something like this, you would have been in a weird situation because you would have gotten filled at 45 cents. Now, granted, a minute later it went to 55 cents, 60 cents. And those are the people who got bad prints and made money. Now, when I bought on limit at 30 and I was saying you can use a limit order and don't throw in, and I remember saying I talked about the spread. And remember, I don't dictate it. I don't know what the spread is going to look like in the pre-market. This is my point of adjusting. So immediately I come to you guys and I'm like, guys, $10 calls in LSCC. Now you could see them printing, near a dollar with volume. LSCC calls. I put in a bid at 30. I got filled. You could still get filled there right now. don't throw in a market order. As soon as I say that, if you're throwing in a market order, what can I do I mean, seriously, like, what can I do at that point? I mean, I'm not behind your computer pressing the button. After I said that, I saw hundreds and hundreds and hundreds or whatever. I don't remember the number because it popped up real quick. I saw a lot of options go off at between 25 and 35 cents after I called it out at 30. And a lot of people in the room will attest to that because you guys were the ones getting filled at those levels. Somebody caught the low print of those $10 calls better than me when I bought 30. Somebody was even like, I put in a 30 bid and got filled at like 28 or 29. I remember somebody in the room said that. So at that point, I'm in from 30 cents. Now, if I bought 100 calls at 30 cents, for example, I'm risking $3,000. Let's take it a step down again. Let's say you're risking 500 bucks. You bought 20 calls. Just we're rounding off. I know that's 600 bucks, Mark. You bought 20 March $10 calls. 20 of them. Those things are not going to zero. You have March time value on them. Those things are not going to zero. Those things would, even if the stock dropped $1, those calls would still be worth at least a nickel if you paid 30 cents. At least, with March expiration time value, of course, not February. I told you guys I was watching the March. So at that point, I'm just sitting there watching LSCC, and the stock exploded in our faces to the upside. Hooray, we're right. And then it digested on a doji, and I said if it got through 990, it was going to pop right through 10. And it went through 990, and it popped right through 10, and it 1024. And then at that point, I'm like, guys, I'm out of 80% of my position. I'm out of 80% of my position. Why? Because the stock ran 10% in our favor. Our calls doubled. Some of you a little better, some of you a little worse, depending on where you got filled. But our calls basically doubled, right? And then granted, it's much higher now. I get that. I'm not even talking about now. I'm talking about what happened in the morning. I don't care if the stock's at $2 now or $20. The trade's already done for me personally. If you're in it, I'm, rooting for you, etc. But the point being is that's what I did. So what I did was when I bought the calls at 30 cents, I literally put in a limit. So let's say you were in 100 contracts, just for simple math. I would put in a quantity for 80, and I would try to sell 80 of them. Or maybe you were in 20 contracts in my example. Maybe you want to sell 16 of them, 80%. You just sell 16 on the offer. And you get filled, and now you're riding on the house's money. Is it going to pop again right here? I don't know. But you locked in the money. So what you do is you went from limit order to limit order in a situation like this. That was the proper way to play it. When I said I got filled at 60 cents, if you were looking at the option at the time, the offer was at 60 cents. The only way I could have gotten filled was with a limit order. I didn't specifically say, guys, I sold LSCC here on a limit order at 60 cents. But if you watch my videos and you listen to what I tell you, I say immediately after you buy something, just put it up 10 cents higher. All right, you got filled at 30 cents, sell it at 40. Who cares? It's done. Move on. Oh, you took 20 contracts. You took $600 worth of options, which is, again, bottom bare amount. I get it. Some people have sub $1,000 accounts. Very few people here, but there are people like that. Maybe you took $200 worth of options in your sub $1,000 account. Maybe you took 200 of them. And maybe you took, like, let's say 10 contracts at 30 cents, $300 worth even. And then you know what you do? Immediately it was going up to 40 right afterwards. Maybe you put out an offer at 40 cents, 45 cents, arbitrarily. And you sold and you locked in money and your day's over. Or maybe you're one of the 3 out of 4 people here are trading stock and you simply just bought the damn shares. You got filled on the bid. I saw the bids printing like crazy after I told you guys I got filled on the options. If you literally placed the best bid within, I don't know, 10, 15 seconds after I told you guys I bought it, you would have gotten filled. You would have gotten filled on the bid. You would have been long from the 930s. Literally, you would be up a point on your shares had you held them. I'm not even saying you should have held them. The good thing for you is this video is going to be recorded. Go back and look. That is how I handled the LSCC trade today. That is how I handled it. That was the proper way to handle it. Remember, from my aspect, I'm trying to get you timely information. You know, if you lost money on LSCC today, you definitely did something wrong. And I want to address it. And what I don't care about whether, right or wrong here. I'm caring about tomorrow. There's a very good chance that I'm going to have a name that I'm watching. Are you going to play it correctly? Tomorrow and the day after and the day after and the week after, month after, month after. I could spit these names out of my behind quicker than you could blink on a daily basis. These are very easy ways to make money. Everything else, I gave you a little breaking Qualcomm scalp, which was garbage. I gave you a breaking Cliff scalp, which was garbage, and that's it. Okay? So, moving on to the questions. When I send you, by the way, as somebody messaged me, do I have any suggestions on how to better understand the option trade, the one and done in the high five? What I did in this, using just today as an example, and I'll do this more for you. If I have to drill this into your head 3, 4, 5 more times to get it straight, believe me, the reward is so worth it. You'll have a job for the rest of your life. Do you know me? I could work 10 minutes a day and retire at this point utilizing this strategy. I know it sounds crazy, right? You really can. Like, how much money does a human need to live? I mean, 5, 6 thousand a month will pay anyone's bills. Most people, not anyone's, but most people, 5, 6 grand will pay their bills. Me, probably need closer to 10 because I shop at Whole Foods. See what I did there? Um, but yeah, you could definitely make a living. But I'm gonna move on to the next question, and I will keep helping you. Don't think this is the last session we're doing. Honestly, the only thing I care about now is you. All right. Resending my note from last weekend. Had my best day ever, $700, and today I gave half of it back on at the open with the two earnings overnights. Trying to get back to the green, doing my best to stay positive, but I'm really against the wall and need to get consi- consistently fast. Appreciate a call to get me back on track with a solid plan. And the gentleman sent me, you are definitely going to receive a phone call. 100% you're going to receive a phone call. And, you know, I have a lot of great advice for you, sir. And I'm going to get back to you on that call. I obviously cannot, help the room with what you just said now. Okay. Okay. David N. Nope. Next. I'm over trading. Just starting my day pretty good. One and done high five. Then I don't know, just puff or poof. I am finding myself in a lot of positions getting in and out. Not cutting my losses. I mean, I do care about it, but I'm not brave enough to suffer it and call it the day. I'm using options. What can I say? Maybe it is because I got a small account. Generally, that's what those, believe it or not, are the traders who tend to lay back more. I don't know, man. Thanks for your time. I don't need a hero. I do need an MM. Okay. My best advice for you, check it out. The person who wrote me this email and everybody who's suffering from over trading, this is what you do. This is what you do. You simply, I have an iPhone. If you use Samsung or whatever, that's, totally cool. This is what you do. So on the iPhone, there's a little app there on the iPhone. Hold on, let the glare recede. There's a little app there that says clock, right? What you do is you hit clock, and then what you do is you literally create an alarm. If you're whatever it is for the first half hour. So if you're East, I'll show an example through Eastern Standard Time. Adjust accordingly. Um, Repeat Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Back. Okay. So this is what you do. You create an alarm. Check it out. I'm not being, I'm please Don't think that I'm wasting time here. I'm not here to waste anyone's time. Like, I'm being serious when I'm showing you this stupid little alarm on the phone. This is not a joke. This is very serious to help you. Please don't take, oh, he showed us an alarm clock. No, like, I am showing you exactly what to do. I'm spelling it out so there's no confusion. All right, so you have a little alarm clock here, 10 o'clock a.m. It repeats weekdays, which is Monday through Friday, and you have a sound that goes off. And then in the top right, you literally hit the save button there. I don't know how, and again, I know my autofocus is definitely detesting me right now, but you see that little save button? You literally hit save. And then what happens is every time you hear that alarm, you're going to know to log out of your account. Is your goal here to have fun and be excited and be part of every single thing we do? Or is your goal to make money and do what you have to do for your personal situation and lock in? That is going to solve your issues, sir. That is going to solve your issues. It's one of the biggest mitzvahs to have an alarm on your phone. Use it. Moving on along. All right. Last week you heard chatter on Herbalife. I immediately bought 3 calls for about 145 each, so about $1.45. Instantly, I was up 300-ish, and within a couple seconds, push sell market. On Herbalife, sell market, yikes. But there was nobody to buy my calls back. Welcome to Herbalife. There's still nobody to buy your calls, even without chatter and everything spreading. I don't even know what they look like. Let's look at it together in real time. Okay? I don't even know what they look like now, but when news comes out, options tend to break apart. So let's look. HLF, let's look. The $60 calls on HLF are 1 by 8 cents. All right, let's look at the ones closest out of the money, the 58 and a halves. 21 by 36 cents. There's a 50% range between the bid and offer. That is way too high. So Herbalife tends to be one of those names, and I know it. That's why I brought up the example in real time with us too. I know Herbalife tends to always have a spread. So now, with that being said, let's go on. Thought it may have been something wrong with TD Ameritrade, so cancel and replace with another market order. It did fill, but because of no liquidity, it filled for about 12 cents. Lost it all in minutes. Smarty Pants, you did not take the trade. I won't front run your stocks. Thoughts again, sincerely, the gentleman who wrote it. Look, all I have to say is when you're dealing with stocks with large spreads, limit. If you're Now, again, I don't know if 3 contracts is a lot for you. For me, if you're going to market in on something really wide, and I've done it before on like Boeing, where you'll have calls at like 250 by 280, and because I use Schwab, I market order and I get filled at like 269 or something like that. And then I hope the stock goes up for me to get filled at a better price again. But an Herbalife, that is one of the worst option plays ever. My thoughts is just be mindful of the bid. Look at the bid. Throw in a limit order immediately. You said you were up 300-ish instantly. That means your calls went from $1.45 to $2.45. What you did wrong there, besides for the market order, is as soon as you got filled, just throw up a limit order. I don't care if it's at $1.75. I don't care if you made 30 cents. I don't care if you made 90 bucks. Just call it a trade. Who cares? Don't sit there and be like, let's see how much I'll be up. And then by the time the stock starts to reverse, it's like, oh my God, huge panic, get out. Just lock in the money. Don't fall in love with any of these ideas. You think I love LSCC? You think I'm in love with this name? You think I believe in the company long term? No. They're stocks that I do. This isn't one of them. All right, so hopefully that addresses you. Hi, Mark. Since you asked, I haven't taken any overnight trades at all lately, but for some stupid reason I did yesterday. I took all three, ACAM, Twilio, and Activision, got all of them at the same price as you, so I was very happy. My biggest trade was ATVI, about $1,000, and the other two are about 500 each, so you actually liked ATVI more than the other two. Interesting. Unfortunately, all three went red immediately, yes. I waited until I just couldn't take it anymore and lost quite a bit. As my account was about 27K, I'm now again at a point where day trading is quite difficult because of day trading rules. I think you need to be over $25,000 to remain over the pattern day trader rule effect. So because of these three trades, I lost all of the money I put in to avoid the day trading issue. Now I feel like an idiot and my mental toxicity is at an all-time high. Don't really know how to continue with day trades and my self-confidence is gone. Taking any trade seems very difficult now. Crazy thing is that my day trades were getting better as we discussed on the phone. I know the gentleman who's writing this. I'm not going to say his name. It is anonymous. The crazy thing is my day trades were getting better, so this one triple swing trade just blew it. I couldn't believe all three would go wrong. Anyways, small issue in the grand scheme of things, but bloody annoying. Sir, you are absolutely right. I cannot really tell you why you would have avoided all the ones that work, and I'll tell you actually why. There is an actual good reason, because you suffered from FOMO. You could not stand seeing the snap works so well, the electronic arts work so well, the ramp works so well, the GM works somewhat. You couldn't deal with all these overnights working so well that you finally caved in and did it. Unfortunately, at this one juncture was the time it failed. I will tell you all, and I will say this to everybody in the room, regardless of your situation. If you have one account, I highly marijuana stock, highly recommend against having a multitude of strategies in the same account. You want to know the people who missed the one and done today? The people who are in mental toxic state from watching Activision, Twilio, and Akamai. What I did was I ignored all three. I got a terrible price on Akamai. I should have sold my Twilio earlier and didn't. And my Activision was I could have sold it at a higher price this morning. But what did I sacrifice by not selling out of those? I had about $750 total worth of overnight, so I was risking $750. Now think of it like this: I ignored those three names, and I crushed it in LSCC because that was my focus. Now, how do I do that? Mark, you're so mentally strong. No, you know how I do it? Out of sight, out of mind. It is almost impossible to have swing trades and intraday trades in the same account. You guys hear me say this all the time. You are looking for a psychological Ford Motor Company to you. That's what you're looking. You're looking at a psychological FU. That is exactly what you're looking at. I'll explain it again why, and I'm sure I'll do it again. Here is the reason. Let's say you walk up and you come in the overnights and you're up $2,000. I have found, and I have so much empirical evidence of this, I have found that traders who are, let's say you're up $2,000 worth of overnights. I have found that you're going to trade stupidly on the intraday because you're comfortable with the fact that you're up money, and it's okay if you lose 500 or 700 bucks. It's just not a big deal. I'm already up 2 grand. And then if you come in then in an intraday account where you're down 2,000 in your overnights, let's say, oh my God, I got to make it back. I got to go heavy. I got to do more trades. I got to work harder today to make it back. So, no matter what situation, up or down, you are putting yourself in a psychologically toxic situation, regardless of how your overnights perform. So, what I did with my overnights, I didn't look at my Robinhood account, which they were in. And I'm still in two of them, which I could have gotten better prices early. Would have I rather, let's say I sold them perfectly. What would have I saved? 300 bucks out of my 750. I would have had a $450 loss. But now it looks like I'm down about 650. So instead of being down 450 and paying attention to them, I ignored them and now I'm down 650 in my overnight ideas. And keep in mind, I'm also running a broadcast. For me, it's even exponentially more difficult because I have a lot to focus on. So think of it like that. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, I ignore it, so I lose $200 more if I were to sell it right here, which I'm still in it. And I sold Akamai at a bad price. I could have held that, and I should have sold the Twilio earlier, right? But instead, I'll make thousands and thousands on LSCC. See the difference? And for those who couldn't focus on LSCC, and I know this is, again, I'll say it again, if you have one trading account, do not apply a multitude of strategies. I have a multitude of accounts. I have the luxury of applying overnights and intradays in different accounts. If you do not have that luxury, you need to choose one. In my humble opinion, I would, if you're here in the morning and you're in this room listening, I would personally choose the intraday. If you wanted to go overnight, that's fine. If you wanted to transition, let's say, Mark, I'm going to be away from my computer a lot of times, God forbid somebody's sick in your family or you have to go on a vacation, so switch it over to an overnight. But don't do two types of strategies in the account at the same time. And if you're taking overnights and then coming in the morning wanting to scalp, you're already psychologically screwed because you couldn't even catch LSCC because you were watching your overnights this morning. Out of all honesty, how many people suffered from that this morning where you weren't able to catch and focus on the LSCC because your overnights were failing? Yep, yep. Don't do it. If I had to choose, if you said, Mark, you have one account, what would you choose, Mark? If I had an account where I wasn't under the pattern day trading rule effect, let's say I had a $30,000 account, um, I would take the intraday because the intraday is so easy. It's so easy once you're acclimated. I'm trying to make it easy for you. If it's hard for you, I'm not being a facetious, um, you know, I'm not being a facetious Alcoa hole in the wall, but I am trying to bring you up to that level, and I will. See? I'm fixing you for the future. Guys, don't worry about LSCC. You think this means anything? This is garbage, LSCC. This means nothing. I'm going to have these trades every day. I'm going to show you how you could just build. But until then, follow what I'm saying. That's okay, VSN. Focus more on the overnights and focus more on the swings, or maybe you're better intraday after the first 1 minute. Or maybe you actually want to follow what I'm saying, get my account set up and everything and try to do it. So my thoughts to you, Carrie, is stop the overnights completely. I did unfortunately drop your name. I do apologize. It was supposed to be anonymous, but I do appreciate you sharing. Um, my honest opinion, just go back to the intraday and you don't let the FOMO of good trades suck you in. And I know it's easier said than done, but you'll get back on the right track, and I know you can do it. You've already saw progress on the intraday side. Just keep it up and build back. You'll get those losses back, in my opinion. Next lady or gentleman, could you give me a call? Would like to get your input on managing my broker accounts. Just keep in mind I can't legally do that for you, but I can give you my thoughts of what I would do with those brokerage accounts. You mentioned that we should not trade swings in our intraday account. Yes. Oh, see, somebody actually bringing that up. Now that you will be providing more reports on possible home runs, I need to decide how to set up my accounts appropriately. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, we do need to talk on the phone. Next. Good morning, Mark. I missed Sunday's new stock you were going to mention as I was out of town riding my snowmobile. That's awesome. It's the best excuse ever. Um, thanks for all you do, and um, I did a report on OTLK. I just replied to you, so. Okay. Hello, Mark. Every time I take a trade, it goes in the opposite direction. For example, I tried the one and done today in Twilio, just so we're perfectly clear. Just so we're perfectly clear. I guess the question I want to ask, I guess the question I would ask for you on Twilio is the following. Now, here's the deal. Here's the deal. If you watched the video, I always say the one and dones are most effective when the first bar is in the direction of where you want. So if you were doing the one and done long to buy Twilio, if you're looking for a one and done long, which is what I assume you're doing, the first question I would ask was the first 1 minute bar green. Here's the first 1 minute bar, not green. Now, in terms of the one and done in Twilio, it actually worked out beautifully. And the one and done short in Twilio worked out even more beautifully. So whatever you did on the one and done right now on Twilio today, you screwed up because whether you did one and done long and short or long or either short, you could have made money. So that's just me talking like I don't know how you lost money on the Twilio one and done. Yes, you had to risk a couple points in Twilio if you're doing the one and done because of the size of this candle. Granted, it never went a couple points against you. Not a full 2 points, right? And yes, the bars are whippy with $1.50 ranges. I get it. But the one and done in Twilio long worked. And then the one and done short really worked. Where the stock went from 115.65 as your trigger to 109.06. It dropped $6.50 from the point of entry. So regardless of what you did in Twilio, it should have worked. And yes, Twilio's a whippy name, so you have to know that ahead of time. I mean, you would have known after the first 1 minute bar when you put in a $2.40 range that Twilio moves. However, in a case like this, I would have avoided the one and done long because you put in a red bar. So granted, the one and done long worked. And then if anything, if I did trade Twilio, because of this, I would have done the one and done and low one short, which would have been the same trigger through 115.65, and you would have crushed it. So, okay. Now let's go back to the point. That's number one. So if you are doing my strategies, the first thing that I would recommend is actually following the methodology to the strategy. I know that sounds like stupid or obvious, but like let's just take it like this. Choose a name with positive or negative news. The best ones are offered in the Newsbeat live room. I chose LSCC. Fine, you chose Twilio. Your name must gap up at the open for upgrade or gap down for downgrade. So I guess the question I have is, you bought, I'm seeing your email, you bought, did Twilio gap up on the open? No, Twilio gap down. So already you broke rule number two. You broke rule number one, which if you want to trade Twilio, fine. But you broke rule number two. So let's see what you did. You did shares, which is very hard in Twilio. You bought 300 shares at 115.50 in the first 3 minutes, and it went to 116 plus. So you're up a little, and then immediately plunged before I could get out. I'm currently down over $2,300. This happens all the time. My scalps and day trades become swinger long-term trades. Feels like if I don't buy a stock, it goes up. If I do a plunge, by the way, this is the most common form of psychological toxicity, by the way, what you're actually saying here. So I have good news for you. I have fixed thousands of traders with this problem, but let's continue. This feels like if I don't buy a stock, it goes up. If I do buy it, plunges. I'm always on the wrong side. I've ran an $83 million business unit for a multi-billion dollar company. I feel like I should be able to figure this out. Thank you for all your help and everything you do for us. Sincerely, the person who wrote it. Okay, so I would say if you're going to do the one and done strategy again, to do the one and done strategy the way it's supposed to be. I would have had, if you're buying 300 shares of Twilio, I get it. You bought it at 115.50. First of all, if you bought it at 115.50, you didn't do the one and done strategy. You chased it for fear of missing out a bigger up move. That's what you did. I mean, you should have, if you did the one and done correctly, you would have first of all been long through 114.50 right over here. Then if you held it for 3 minutes, it would have gone up to 116, 4 minutes to 116.50, 5 minutes to 116.89 before a plunge. That's if you actually executed long on the first 1 minute breakout, which you didn't. So again, it's not the one and done what you did. I would rewatch the video again. I would rewatch the one and done video. Did I post it in the room again? Yeah, I think I posted it in the room again. Watch the one and done video again, please, because you bought in at the wrong time. You disregarded one of the steps. It's all very important. Now, how would you know what to do? You would have noticed Twilio gap down. in the morning. So there was no long one and done in Twilio in the first place. The name has to gap in the direction of your move. So that is unfortunately where you erred, but I'm positive that that thing can fix you. Also in the future, try what I'm doing for the time being. Put out arbitrary numbers out. For example, I know you bought 115.50. You should have been in earlier, obviously. Let's say you bought 115.50 in Twilio. Throw out an offer at 116. I'm serious. I'm not saying that because I see the chart. Just throw it out. Throw it out 115.75, 116 and a quarter. I don't care. Just show and prove to yourself that you could lock in the money. Because once you start doing that, you're going to start adding psychological fortitude to your brain. You're going to rid yourself of the toxicity, and then you're going to really be able to make real money in the future. And it always takes that step. Okay? Dear Mark, thank you for offering to help us today and instructing us to send you an email. I've been struggling with this issue for a while, but today's unusually bad day has given me the nudge to ask you. After my wife and I had a kid, she urged me to move out of the high crime and poor school area. Yeah. See that? Grew up in the wrong hood. Almost lost my eye too. You see, got the little knife scar there. Somebody almost took out my eye. I feel you, first of all, on the high crime areas. Believe me, like the last thing I wanted for my kid is to live in that area, and it's because I was a kid from that area. So, tons of respect for your wife and you. I understand that it's easier said than done. As expected, I relocated in the San Francisco Bay Area and the bills increased. To provide a safer and better place for my wife and kid. I respect that. So I had to man up and get a second job trading. Respect that too. I was doing okay last year with making more money than my first job, despite my bad habits, which I did not realize until joining this room. Dur- Doing primarily swing trades, which admittedly were easier last year. I know they were. I have been impressed and inspired with your combination of skill and compassion, and so was moved to take a hard look at myself and become a better trader. I feel blessed to have committed to your room. Now I have increased my skill and consistency, but have been losing money overall. I have small wins and big losses. This is caused by multiple factors. One, because I usually win more now, I tend to hold on to losers thinking that they will win because I am more accustomed to winning, leading to outsized losses. As I explore new areas in trading, I have lost big money in aftermarket. Oh, you were trading aftermarket. I mean, I could do that really well. Honestly, like I'm a really good after hours trader. Like I'm not patting myself on the back, but I've made so much money trading after hours, honestly. I just don't have it anymore in me. There's just like I have to spend time with my kid and take care of things before I do a show for you guys. So I stopped doing that. But be very careful. I've seen many people blow up from that. So I would avoid that. Um, Obviously, as you probably already know, but for everyone, I would avoid that. Three, I really need to stop trading expiring weekly options on Friday. I know that feeling. My P&L has taken a hit this year, and I am ashamed to admit this to my wife. Amen. Welcome to why most traders get divorced. I want to become a better trader so that I can support my family and confidently look them in the eyes again. My question, my P&L indicates that I'm getting worse, but is this a developmental stage in becoming a better trader? Your guidance is always appreciated. Sincerely, the gentleman who asked the question. Okay, so this is what I would say. I would ask you, reply to me and tell me what you're actually doing well. So let's say you said you're trading after hours, stop. See, that is the type of trader who just wants to keep trading and trading and trading. And you think the harder you work, the better it is for you and your family, when generally the exact opposite is true. So let's say you're making money on the one and dones. I would be comfortable taking quick losses, quick gains. You take a trade, you throw out an offer, it works, you're out. You take a trade, it goes against you, you sell out, you're out. Take the loss even if it comes back. I know, again, that is easier said than done. Definitely stay away from after hours trading. And on Friday, just do what I said with the alarm clock thing. Play a little sound on Friday and go out next week with the options. You're absolutely right on the time value of expiring options. Even like on a Wednesday like today, I didn't even want to trade the call's expiring this week on LSCC. I went out on the next month. Try to look at your results. Show me what you're doing well, and I'm going to show you how to stick with that. So um, for those traders who are losing, there is something you're probably doing well. Look at your results and tell me what it is. And I respect what you're going through. And definitely stop after hours trading, please. You're working too hard. I literally mean that. And you're not getting the results you want because you're working too hard. It's kind of funny how being a little more. It's funny that the less is more, they say. That could not be truer in the world of trading. Hi, Mark. This is the gentleman who wrote the email, and here are my psychological toxicities. I had just started watching the public show for a week or two and decided to follow you on the Netflix put spread. I set multiple entry limits at larger and lower prices, not really expecting them to go as low as they did, and for the price to move up as much as it did. But I saw it as if it did move away from the bias, I was getting heavier weighted in a better position. So you're doubling down. One of the things I just about never do is double down. The only way you're allowed to double down in my book is if that was your plan in the beginning and you have a set dollar amount ahead of time, which you obviously most people don't. I put way too much on the table and had to sell half at a more than 50% loss. This had my trading capital tied up to be able to size small into the various trades the room was doing once I joined. Pick one. Pick one. You're obviously doing swings. Again, another issue of somebody doing overnights and intraday on the same account, and one is dragging down the other. I can't emphasize that enough. And I know I say it 100 times. I'll say it another 100 times. I'll keep saying it until you do it. Platform chart and fill issues. I use Ally Invest for the commissions, and I sometimes use TD Ameritrade. So maybe you do have many accounts. I just don't think Ally is that good. I probably agree with you. I've never heard of it. I've heard of it. I don't know anyone who uses it. The quotes don't seem optimal nor update as quick. Your quotes aren't updating as quick. Get the Ford Motor Company off of that platform. TD is more expensive but works a little better. Call up and negotiate your commission rate. Try to pay 50 cents a contract with no base fee. That would be a good start. You could always negotiate with brokers. On these one and dones, I'm just not quick enough even when I got everything pulled up and ready. How's that even possible? This morning I missed because I was expecting to execute a market order, and by the time I changed to limited, it had taken off. I hear you there. That was a little bit different. That was a little bit different of what happened this morning. That was the exception, not the rule of what happened today. I don't have to obviously say if you weren't quick enough to do it, you should have just not traded it. Now, again, you're using inferior platforms or your setup is inferior to the way it should be. So let me just show you an example. And I'm not, dissing you. It's the platform. It's either effective or it's not effective. So this is how I just want to show you what it took me to change. Because I don't have it hotkeyed or everything. I'm clicking on the mouse, right? So we're watching, what was it, LSCC. I was watching the March $10 calls. So after I bought in at 30, so it was set on market, right? So I had it set on market too, right? And then all of a sudden I saw a spread. So at that moment I decided I did not want to be on a market call. So look at this. I highlight over order market type, left click. The top one is always limit, hit limit, and it always shows you, like, if you left click on the price here, you see the limit price will change. So if I click this 75 here, my limit is 75. However, I went all the way down. I mean, at the time, it was a 25-cent bid, so I just clicked up to 30. And then I clicked buy to open. So again, to show you again how it looked like for me to switch from market to limit. Now, just think about how fast you could do it and think if your software allows you to do this. I don't know. So look, I was on market order just like you. Options opened up. I saw them 25 by 60 cents immediately. Before I bought anything, I made the decision I don't want a market order. Left click, go to limit, left click, change price up one nickel, which is one more left click, and then left click. 4 left clicks got me from a market order to a limit order at my price. 4 left clicks. It looks like this, very quick. Click, 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 click. That's it. Click, 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 click. Less than 3 seconds. Now, if it took you 5 or 6 or 10, that would have been acceptable for an LSCC. I don't know if your platform allows that, but again, that's literally, I'm literally showing you step by step on the platform of what I did to accomplish that. And I know a lot of you are asking for my layout. A lot of you got it already, and a lot more of you are going to get it, by the way. And by the way, I don't help you with my layout. You have to call Schwab. I take no responsibility. I'm not going to be your customer service on my layout. Mark, how do I do this? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how to use, I don't know how to design the layout. It's just already there. And if you call up Schwab, you'll get like a professional who'll do it with you, FYI. Started with 13 grand land summer, and I'm down to 4,800 and still have a Netflix put spread at $1.77 for about $3,500 original risk, so it's down big. So there you go, Mark. These are the things I am working through and trying to clean up. Thank you so much for everything you do. I only trade when I have off time. I'm a broke regional airline first officer, divorced, and have to fly to go get my son and shuttle him here and back. I'm also finishing a minor in English technical writing to get my stupid degree because the Uniteds and Americans require it. I hate school and it's so annoying. And this email was not meant to have good writing on grammar, so don't judge me. Don't worry. The grammar police are coming. Woo, 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 woo. Put them in handcuffs. See you in the room. Okay. Sincerely, the gentleman. What I would say here is you double down on this Netflix play. You're obviously not comfortable taking a loss. So I don't know why. So yeah, I think you have to almost come up with the decision of on these one and dones. You're saying you're not just quick enough. The truth is, I have seen people who are not that quick who do this very effectively. I mean, do you really believe the gentleman's in the room scalping the 60 and 70-year-old gentleman? And I mean gentlemen like plural, not gentleman, gentlemen in the room? You think these, 50 plus year olds in the room are so much quicker than you? No, they just have a better tool. They have a better weapon with their software layout. I highly recommend if you can get a software layout to customize it really well. I know I got an email from Dan. From Dan Bender was nice enough to share his layout. I'm going to look for his email right here. I have to see the software he uses. Thinkorswim setup. So here we go. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, just copy and paste this. I'm going to spam chat. I'm going to spam chat. Here you go. I'm going to spam chat. Copy and paste that. That is Thinkorswim. Dan Bender shared this. Why did it copy all the emails? I accidentally copied all the emails. I'm sorry. Um, just read that and see if that helps you set up your Thinkorswim, okay? I hear you that let's see. All right, so I hear you that you're using TD Ameritrade. So again, I don't know if you could set it up like that, but that's something you're gonna have to look into and see if the one and dones work for you once you have a better layout. Hello. Hi, Mark. My question pertains how to approach trading in my $3,500 account. I have 2,500 on Schwab for option trading and 1K on Robinhood for names like INSGOTLK. When I first started this room a few months ago, I found myself over trading and jumping into intraday scalps that have no business trading. Due to my account, I don't have the luxury of making money in the morning and then dropping size, thus ensuring I'm not giving my day back. I've lost some sleep thinking about what I am missing and have thought about what I can change to become successful. 1. Throw the majority of my weight at your names, such as INSG and OSTK. Only trade names that are official Newsbeat names in chatter. Yes. Yes, Trevor. I recommend that to everyone who is struggling with their trading. You have to understand, there are traders in this room who are just doing their own thing, will ask me for a technical level, or will sit there and they'll cherry pick, some of my intraday ideas and maybe not the morning ones, and they're successful, and that's fine. But if you are having a tough time making money on the intraday, especially, I would say trade official Newsbeat names and chatter. I mean, there are traders here who religiously do that. It's called a Newsbeat bandit. That's all they do is they trade official Newsbeat names. And they'll go either really light on the 2 out of 10s and 3 out of 10s, and they'll go a little heavier on the higher ones. Then there's some of them who just trade the 4 out of 10s, and they'll come in and they'll make 2, 3, 4 trade, 5, 6 trades a month, depending on how many I give. And they'll be up 5 figures for the month. And that'll be it. And they're fine with that. And those are the people with the maximum discipline. So I couldn't agree with you more, gentlemen writing this email. Moving a majority of my money to Robinhood and tearing up on the swing long-term names isn't as exciting, I agree, which I believe is what is keeping me from success. I have found consistency trading chatter and higher conviction names, but transaction costs are a significant percentage of my small account. Definitely negotiate your rates. I feel you. Also, for perspective, I am 25 and work a public accounting job. I could only trade 9:30 to 11 most days, making sure I don't miss any chatter names. I intend on contributing more money to my account over time, but I have some imminent large expenses currently, such as a wedding, congratulations, etc. I am passionate about trading and eventually want to do it full time. I thoroughly enjoy your videos and insight you provide on how you got to where you are today. I truly do appreciate the time and effort you put into trying to make us, the room, successful traders. I am fortunate that I ran across one of the Newsbeat videos on Facebook one day, and I haven't missed a video since. Thanks for your help, Trevor. Um, Shit, I dropped your name. Um, I agree with you. Only trade names that are official Newsbeat names, and I think you're going to address your issues. Sorry, I know I already disclosed like 2, 3 names. I apologize. I have to. I'm just trying to read the emails, and I have to put a zip on the lip. Hi, Mark. I have a repeated trading pattern. It starts with small size, $300 worth of options, or 10 to 50 shares of stocks, and therefore small winning 4 to 5 days, I like $100 to $300. That's great. Then maybe a small losing day like 170. On the small winning days, my confidence doesn't increase. You are incorrect, by the way. You don't think your confidence increases. Just like if you went to the gym for 2 weeks, you wouldn't feel your muscles bulging out. It's a slow process, but when you're there, it stays. Maybe my toxicity in trading is big and long lasting. No, you're making money. You're doing good. Then I increase my size, so if I win, I would win big, and bang, a big down day happened before a big win, and I lose all any leftover confidence. Not that I had any confidence before this. You don't think you did. Because of my toxicity, when I start after the big loss, I start off with the curse of small size. I make a lot of small mistakes like jumping in a trade too soon, get out too fast, mistakes on order entry, lots of sloppiness. And after a few days, I come down and the above pattern starts all over again. I don't know. I am lost. Sincerely, gentleman who wrote it. Okay. So, I mean, you start off the pattern, as you're saying here, making with small trades, and you have a small winning streak of 4 to 5 days of days with $100 to $300 P&L. Then you have a small losing day of 170, and you're ahead. Does it excite you? No, but it's not supposed to. Then you increase your size. That is where you screwed up. You're not at the point where you're supposed to increase your size. When you increase size in the market, it comes naturally. You don't make a conscious decision to do it. Most traders think I'm doing it with 1,000 shares. Now I'm planning on doing it with 3,000 shares. That transition doesn't come with you just having a brain fart one day and saying, all right, I want to tear up now. I'm doing well. It actually is more of a natural progression. Like you'll just be there in a trade. You'll be like, you know what? Like, I got this. This is going to work. And then you just naturally go heavier. It's not really a fully conscious, premeditated position. So stop going heavier. Do what you're doing for a few months that is going to heal you, and stop just going bigger after you have like a week or two of updates and say, all right, I'm sizing up now. You're sizing up too fast. That is what you are doing wrong. Hi, Mark. I've been having a hard time in this market. I live in Canada and get horrible brokers options and Forex base. I don't have money to get level 2 quotes. Yikes. I use snap quotes on my platform. My commission rate is $9.99 base and $1 per option and $30 monthly fee. There is an option to get active trader bundle, $4.95 base and 75 cents per option and $90 monthly fee. The monthly fee gets waived. Amount of commissions. Use a free version of stock chart. I use a free version of free stock charts and investing.com. My broker requires 5 grand in my account. Just I don't. Hmm. Okay. You're definitely somebody I have to call on the phone because of your unique scenario. I will ask this though. What is the best trading platform in Canada? You Canadian A's. What is the best trading platform in Canada? Unfortunately, TOS. There's no pattern day trading rule in Canada, is there? Or am I mistaken? I don't know the laws. No pattern day trading rule. So they're recommending Quest Trade, gentleman who wrote this email. I'm gonna have to reach out for you and ask you probably a good 2, 3 dozen questions. And I wrote down your name and I have a lot of more phone calls. And if you're waiting for a phone call, ladies and gentlemen, honestly, I probably reached out to around 50 of you in the past week. I'm gonna do a lot more. I haven't forgotten about you, but I am adding you to the list, and we do need to have a phone call. Um, at 10:54, STZ looked bullish. All right, so gentlemen who brought STZ calls at 10:54 do not like your timing in the trade. And I'll tell you why. Not because it worked or failed. Just let me show you. Why not do a high five strategy when we're calling it through 174.89? Then you would have been long through there. Instead, you got long right around here where it's still, I agree with you, it did look bullish. But the whole point was to execute on the algorithmic strategy. You're going to be fine. Just follow the algorithmic strategies if you want to know when to buy these bullish names. Love you too. Hi, Mark. I want to first thank you for spending the time you do to work with us and make us better traders, knowing you'll probably have lots of emails streaming in. I'll try to keep this short. It's a 7 paragraph email. It's okay though. Don't worry about it. I'm an account blowout pro. I haven't booked a successful year yet. This brings a lot of psychological negativity to my trading. Damn right it is. 2014 was the first year I placed an electronic trade. I used to stand in line at the exchange office to make Forex trades years ago, That actually worked out better for me. I haven't done that in years, of course. Yeah, it all went electronic. I followed so-called gurus in the past that have shaped my way of thinking into always looking for home run trades. Yikes! This has led me being in good trades, but holding too long and creating losing trades as time passed by. This has also led to the following point. Gamble trades. Always look for trades that don't comply with strategy parameters or rules, like STZ at 1054. You're going to be fine. Just follow the algo strategies. High five it, baby. Um, that was also, by the way, a FOMO trade of why you bought there. Um, but that also looking for trades that don't comply with strategy parameters and rules, but do look like a contrarian approach on the short term that will provide massive returns if I'm right. Four, a factor to consider with regards to point two and three is that I usually started with small trade accounts, not larger than 3K, meaning that I cannot take large trades. I need to think about commissions that need to be paid, so I'm always looking for more meat on the bone. Also, the pattern day trader rule plays a big role and puts more pressure on being able to place a few successful trades that are significant for my account growth. I could already tell you I have your answer for you, but I'm going to finish your email. Five, placing trades on names I'm not completely familiar with, given either by room members or emails. Emails. Um, and for which I have not made the proper research to identify potential challenges that might occur, and thus stepping into unadvantageous trades that eventually become losing trades from the get go. Six, for the majority of the time, playing all or nothing. Either it works or it doesn't. I don't cut my losses short enough to preserve my trade capital. I'm trying to work on this, but it's difficult to reach the point where I say it's enough. In the past, the frequency of cutting losses short and the trade turning to where I initially wanted it to go and establish gains ensured that I now give it more time to work, but don't let go on time when it really doesn't. And seven, an old one, revenge trade, creating more losses after a big loss. I think the above mentioned are my major points that require attention. I have made good trades following you, but have been giving my profits back for the dumbest of reasons. I often wish to be spending time with real traders on a daily basis, and your room is by far the closest I have ever gotten to spending time with real traders. Thank you in advance. I'm in on your 1 p.m., your 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time session. Thank you, sir. Sincerely, gentleman who wrote the email. Okay. Um, Here's my advice. Now, my advice is like I'm not looking at your account, but I'm just reading your email, which is the only thing I have to go off here. But you said I have made good trades following you. That's the only positive thing you mentioned in your email. Um, that's the only positive thing that you mentioned in your email other than standing in line to make forex trades. So you mentioned two positive things in your email trade. The positive forex thing when you were standing in line and the making good trades following you, but you've been giving my profits back for the dumbest reasons. How about this? How about you only follow the trades I do? Sometimes I'm talking out a trade because I know people are watching things like Teva. This morning's a perfect example. Did I trade Teva long? Nope. Not a single share, not a single contract. But other people did. Because other people were focusing in on it. It's my, I don't want to say what my job really entails, but I consider it my job to at least mention the names that other people are watching, like Teva on earnings day. So I will bring up the fact that, in the morning when one of my news guys was asking me, Mark, short Teva, and I told the news guy, no, it could break down here, but I think it's going to get over 18 bucks. And he came back and he thanked me. And I'm like, did you buy Teva? He's like, no, but I didn't short it. So here's the point. I mean, if you can make money on the one and dones, gentleman who wrote this email and the good trades with me, following me, just do that. Don't look at the emails. Don't follow things that are not working for you. I would even be the first to tell you if there was a few things in the room working for you, like a few people posting, but you couldn't make money off my ideas, but you can make money off their ideas. You know what I would tell you? Don't follow anything I say. Follow the people in the room because the community is where you're getting the value from. But in the case of your email, you say make good trades following me. Just follow So, I mean, the answer is just to follow me. Now, if you could cut your goal down, sir, to actually not doing anything, like, you know how many traders in the room made one trade today and are successful for the day? How many traders have a full-time job while they're doing this? Oh, thanks, Mark. I caught LSCC, made 800 bucks, made 1,000, made 5,000, made 2,000, made $200. Thanks, Mark. I'm done. Bye. See you guys. Have a great day. Good luck trading. You know how many traders were like that today? I know it sounds like I say this every day, but it's true. So my point is, why not just stop when you're ahead, and who gives a Ford Motor Company of what happens next? I think you got it in you, because you're one of the rare things that traders who are struggling can't do is identify what they do well. You identify two things you do well. One of them are non-existent anymore, which is, standing in line to put in a forex order. It's all electronic now. I get it. So just follow me on my trades. Don't do anything else. Stop reading those bullshit emails that are filling your box. Excuse my language. Do you realize how much negativity can become from a free email service? People are like, oh, it's free. What does it cost me? Nothing, right? Wrong. You're sitting there, you're looking through it. It's costing you your time, your mental energy. Delete it. Get rid of it. I think you're going to be okay, sir. Purely psychological. All right, next email. Purely psychological toxicity. Missed the one and done this morning as I was affected by losses on earnings trade. Yeah, we addressed that. But even more importantly, by the feeling that it always goes against me. Example. Last week, all the earnings winner has decided not to play earnings lottos. Then Monday, took all three as I did not want to miss out FOMO. Did not want to miss out on winners again, and of course, all three went against me just when I am in. I know it's stupid to think like that, but happened so many times, seems beyond coincidence, so all this frustrates me and pumps up my psychological toxicity. All I can say is you're going to have to be the human being at the end of the day that decides if you're going to be trading these intradays or overnights. And I know I said it last week and the week before, but if you cherry pick my ideas, your results are going to vary. Your results are going to vary if you cherry pick my ideas. Obviously, I don't cherry pick my ideas. I take all the ideas I tell you that I buy or sell. But what happened was the winning trades that you were not part of in the past 2 weeks caused fear of missing out, which is a form of psychological toxicity, and had you jump in. Unfortunately, this time it didn't work and ended up costing you. So, what I would personally say to you is stop the earnings ideas. I don't care if I'm right or wrong. Focus in on the one and dones because it seems to me like that's where your potential is. Because in your email, and again, I don't have your account statements, I don't know your P&Ls. You say you missed the one and done this AM. So if that caused negativity for you, it means you wanted to catch the one and done. The reason why you wanted to catch the one and done is because that's what works for you. How about you become a strict Newsbeat bandit? You only focus on one and dones and high ones, and you throw everything else out the window. That's my advice for you. All right. FYI, send email to Mike after quick conversation. I don't know who Mike is, sir, who wrote me the email about your trading account. Your name was posted by Mark Melnick this morning. I doubt I posted Mike's name this morning. Currently, I trade with Thinkorswim where I pay 50 cents for option, no ticket charge. That's fine. $5 for stock. That's fine. Fidelity, 45 cents plus 3.95. That's fine. Yesterday, I spoke to someone at Schwab about opening accounts there, and I'm awaiting response on their rates. Their rates are negotiable. Sir, who wrote the email, try to negotiate 40 cents plus base charge. Okay. All right. Got your email before, addressed it. On Twilio, this AM was an overnight. The $139 February calls were at 231. I was down overnight, which is okay. When it opened and the stock was up $2, my options printed 25 cents. What the Ford happened and went down from there? I was on this mofo, which is more fear of missing out, obviously. I got a butt whooping on a stock that was up, so what the hell happened? Richard, because Twilio reported earnings, Twilio was expected to have a huge move. So even if Twilio was up 3, 4 points today, your option calls would have been down because Twilio was an earnings play and you lost that potential volatility of it gapping up 20 points. That was taken away from your trade. That is a very common thing with earnings. I boom ball level up here. I will. Last thing that the gentleman said from the last email, I'm profitable because of you. You're the M. So he's either thinking that I'm the man or the Macy's. Either one. Hmm. Okay. Mark, I hope you have time to return this email. Blank, basically. I'm having trouble being profitable on the one and dones. I'm looking at the chart and the price of the most recent expiring calls. When I see the chart pattern works favorably, I instantly go and purchase the calls, but it seems like my orders are being filled later, such as LS, LSCC or whatever on Wednesday. I got filled at 57 cents after seeing the second chart candle across the first bar. Then I have to sell because I am taking a loss almost instantly. Sometimes I am making these trades on my cell phone. Although my connection, I don't think you could do a one and done on a cell phone. Let's be perfectly clear. One and dones are not meant to be done on cell phones. Although my connection is fantastic, irrelevant. There is no software that runs on a cell phone well. Even Robinhood, like you can't do one and dones with Robinhood. Um, the reason I did not use a limit order is because I saw my price would be skipped. I don't know what that means. I know I have it down as far as recognizing the pattern on the charts. I just can't seem to execute the buy order quick. Any suggestions? I'm tired of losing money seeing right. All right. So he's basically seeing the right trades, but he's using a terrible execution system. Don't trade on your cell phone, for God's sake. You want to do an overnight on your cell phone and there's no sense of urgency? Do it. That's fine. But on a 1 minute chart where timing is important, you need to have a better layout on your software. It's ineffective. It's ineffective at making money. It's ineffective. You cannot scalp a 1 minute chart on a cell phone. You just can't. You could do overnights on a cell phone. You could do intraday swing on a cell phone. You can't do one and done. You can't. I wouldn't even do high fives on a cell phone. You can't really. You can trade on a cell phone. Your disadvantages are massive. So, not sure what you meant by why you ignored the limit order after I said it. You put in a market order. As I said, I wouldn't do a market order. I mean, and you're trading on a cell phone. That is the problem. If you sent me an email and said, Mark, can I have your Charles Schwab layout? I'm going to switch over and put my money there. And I know it's for demo purposes only. I would give you the entire layout that I showed you on this demonstration here. That's the best I could tell you. Don't trade on your cell phone, for God's sake. Not scalp wise. I mean, you're there, you're on the bridge, you're on the toilet, you're dropping a deuce. No offense to the sexy deuce in the room. I just meant it more as a number two. Um, Look, you want to do something like that, fine, but don't do a one and done on your cell phone. I'll have to answer you later. Address issue. Good afternoon, Mark. Bit of a problem here. I would take a trade, see that I'm up money. We're almost done here, ladies and gentlemen. Bit of a problem here, and I hope I'm addressing like multiple issues through these speeches. I know like some people are just hearing, yeah, I suffer from that too. Like I'm reading this and I'm like, wow, I could do a little better on that too, even myself, you see. Bit of a problem here. I would take a trade, See that I'm up money, and then when I mark it out, it shows that I'm down money. Use limit orders to sell immediately after putting in your market order. That's what I was saying initially. For example, you market order, you get filled on your options at 50 cents. Put out an offer at 60 cents, 70 cents. Immediately, a limit order. Just throw it in. Are you really afraid that those 50-cent calls are going to shoot up to $1 and you're going to be the one who sold 60 and 70 cents? Is that your concern? That you're not going to make as much money as you could potentially could have? What's the flip side? You mark it out and lose money? Let's go on. So you're asking, do I limit order when closing a position? Yes, I do. Is the very next sentence. This has happened to me numerous times. Maybe the commission kills me when I'm exiting trades for a small profit. So to solve this problem, I would take a trade, add more contracts, hold it till I'm up money enough to cover commissions, but if the trade goes against me, then I just keep holding. Do you know how much I should lose before I sell out? So it depends on your account, depends on your risk parameters. Probably be better answered with a call when I know what your bills look like, when I know what you're trying to accomplish. My P&L is up overall. That's good. So you're making money with us. Very good. Um, but I feel like I can make more if I solve this problem. I 100% agree with you. This is discouraging for me and my fiance, and I feel like when I have down days, it affects all aspects of my life. Yes, it does. I'm trying to plan a wedding. Oh, God bless you. Which will be next May. So many people getting married. And be successful as it's really, and so many people getting divorced too. Isn't that nuts? And be successful, and it's really taking a toll. You may disclose my name. Sincerely, Stephen M. Duman. Stephen M. Duman. All right. Or unless it's Duman. Either one. All right, Steve. Since you said you may disclose my name, thank you. It's okay. It's just so I'll address you by first name. Um, yes, I would just look at your trades as arbitrary positions. Get as soon as you're filled, put up a limit order higher immediately. I don't care if it could have been a big home run, whatever. Now, here's the trick. If it doesn't go up and you don't get filled, you're going to have to cancel your order, switch to market order, and then sell out, especially if you don't have the ability to short options, if you don't have that access. So I think that's a very important point. Let me show you how it's done. Okay. LSCC. You put in a limit order. Let's say you got filled at 40 cents, right? You hit buy to open limit. You were on market this morning, let's say. You went to limit. You put in a bid. You put in 30 cents. You got filled. Immediately, click, click, put in 40 cents. That's, 30% of your money, right? 30 to 40 cents. Just hit sell to close immediately with your entire position. Who cares? Are you really afraid that's going to run up to 95 cents or $1 like it did today? Is that really your concern in Lattice Semiconductor? Is that really what you're worried about? Put an offer at 45 cents. Now, let's say it doesn't get filled and it starts going down, and then starts going down 25-cent bid, 20-cent bid. Then what you do is you simply go on your order window, or this is how I do it. There's a button too you could preset, which I don't do. You could cancel your order, switch it out to a market order, and then hit sell to close to exit the position for a loss. That's how you would go about it. You're going to take modest losing days, you're going to take modest winning days, and I feel if you're right, 70% of the time you're going to come out way ahead. I mean, you're up money overall. You're definitely a winning trader doing something right, and that's how you would improve on it, Steve. Thank you for the email. Two more emails. Hi, Mark. One and done not working well in TradeStation's option station. I decided to move to Schwab for intraday. May I have your layout of Schwab Street Smart Edge for one and done in demo account, and you are not responsible for anything? Thanks a lot, the gentleman who wrote it. Congratulations on the new step of your career, and your answer is yes, you may have it. Next. Question for the current special session. Hi, Mark. I've been staying with small size and working on consistency for a while now. While I have been much more consistent, I find that the goal of no red days sometimes makes me bail on a trade too quickly. I'll be up a few cents, then I'll see the position go to even, so I bail because I don't want to go red. Many times these trades go on for what would have been decent profits. It seems at times the goal to remain consistent is hurting my P&L. Can you comment on this? The goal is to not make money every day. Believe it or not, the goal is to be smart every day. So I agree with you completely. You think my goal is to come in and say I'm going to make money every day? I don't. I don't make money every day. I make money the vast majority of the days. I don't really have many losing days at all. But that's not because my goal was to have all winning days. My goal is to trade intelligently. I really don't, honestly, so I take a loss sometimes in a stock and you hear me laughing because it's funny to me at this point. Like I see like losses and like gains and like I'll laugh because it's hilarious to me. It's like, oh my God, that one didn't work. Okay, that's fine. Like to me, it's just it's like almost surprising. Like, oh, that trade didn't work. Okay, no problem. I'll take a loss. Move on. Next. All right, took a loss. Fine. Took overnights. I have 3 losses on my overnights, right? If I sell them here, which I didn't. I actually ended up holding them in. They actually Activision and Twilio are looking a lot worse now. Okay, even with that being said, do you think like I'm saying I have to be green every day? No, you just have to trade smart every day. And I know you've been doing much better, and I see your name, and you've been a lot more consistent, and you feel like you could make a little more money. You're actually on the cusp of actually making real money, believe it or not. And I actually see where you are right now because when I first spoke to you, you were losing money. Now all of a sudden you're consistently making money, and you're sitting there thinking, well, why am I making 50, 100, $200 when I could be making five, six, seven, eight, $900? And that's going to come with time. Don't force it. And I don't see anything wrong with being red on a trade. But at the same time, you bailing out on trades like that, it's going to save your butt in the long run. The way your brain is developed right now is you're not actually looking back at the times where chucking it for the break even, small loss, small gain actually ended up helping you. You're actually not looking at that. So continue doing what you're doing, and you're going to be fine. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was wow, what a video, right? That was our Newsbeat Psychology Fix. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys in about 5 seconds after I'm done recording this video right here on